We all have a favorite wrestler, and sure, some of the love could be because of in-ring work, but if you ask most wrestling fans why they like their favorite wrestler, their gimmick or character comes into play as a deciding factor. Baby faces who can do no wrong, the underdog we all root for, the heel who is slimy and unlikable, and the pure heels who will never win over the love of the fans. They all have relatable characteristics, similar backstories, strong story arcs, bigger than life personalities, and credible work on the mic. But not every wrestler is born to be an actor. Some wrestlers try to connect with fans on an emotional level, but fall flat. Some wrestlers try to be every gimmick, and they never become successful at one. And some are just doomed from the start, layered with stereotypes and confusing characters. I'm Jay from Midcard Maniacs, and today we're going to explore 10 wrestlers who could use a serious gimmick makeover. Yeah. This list will detail wrestling gimmicks that are confusing, bizarre, or simply don't work. We chose wrestlers based on their current gimmicks, and we'll explain how their history and wrestling experience tell us they deserve better. It's a brand new decade, so let's delve into a list of wrestlers who could use a fresh new start. King Corbin. The King Baron Corbin is not the royalty you want ruling over your kingdom. Sleazy, dressed in unfortunate attire and shoving dog food down the throats of chained superstars, Corbin doesn't live up to his potential. Corbin signed with NXT in 2012 and quickly earned the Lone Wolf moniker. The superstar was a natural heel and had no friends to help him when he needed it most. Besides his haircut, the Lone Wolf was a solid character to hate. Corbin debuted on the main roster at WrestleMania 32, winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. From there, the Lone Wolf developed into something more like a micromanaging, never satisfied member of middle management. He shaved his head and served as an authority figure with zero power as Constable of Raw, where he wore a vest that frequently got him compared to an Applebee's waiter. He became King Baron Corbin after he won the 2019 King of the Ring tournament, defeating Chad Gable, who he dubbed Shorty, and unfortunately the name stuck. The most frustrating part is that Corbin is terrific on the mic and has the ability to get real heat. In several interviews, he says he enjoys finding ways to make the crowd hate him. He even managed to get serious heat after he landed his finisher End of Days on Becky Lynch. But WWE has had a real problem with backing up his swagger, and some of the spots he's put in, like the dog food, is questionable at best. Put Corbin in a heel character that comes more natural to him, and he'll really shine. Cheerleader Melissa. While the name might invoke feelings of pep, positivity, and perkiness, Cheerleader Melissa wouldn't quite qualify as a face. The veteran has been wrestling for over 20 years and has solidified herself as a bona fide legend. She's competed in WWE, Shimmer, TNA, All Japan Pro Wrestling, Stardom, Lucha Underground, and countless others. Melissa's held 17 different title reigns and at 37 is still going strong. What seems to be counterintuitive is the name she's kept since she debuted on her 17th birthday in 1999. Melissa has held 10 different ring names throughout the years, but Cheerleader Melissa has been the most dominant, even though there was an odd stint as Raisha Saeed in TNA billing herself from Syria. Though she really did have a cheerleader gimmick when she started wrestling, her charisma, confidence, and talent outshined that gimmick. It doesn't really fit her anymore, and though she'll likely never drop the name, it might be time for a small change. Cheerleader Melissa is a strong, tough, and terrifying heel. Cheerleader just doesn't quite fit the bill anymore. Brian Cage. Brian Cage's real name is Brian Button, and so while it's understandable why you might not want to give someone of this stature a gimmick derived from his real name, we're not sure the one that he does have is all that good either. Debuting in 2005, Cage has used variations of Brian Cage as ring names in the 22 different promotions he's been a part of, including Brian Cage Taylor, Cage, and John Cage, with the odd Chris Logan and Nightclaw thrown in for good measure. In 2008, while at FCW, Brian Cage adopted the name Chris Logan as an homage to Chris Kanyon and the human name of the Marvel character Wolverine, Logan. Why'd he adopt the name of an X-Men? Because he kinda looks similar to him. The thing is, you can almost call Brian Cage's version of Wolverine the Walmart version. Impact tries to sell it to their fans, but the outfit and the accessories they adorn Cage with is kinda cringeworthy. Most notably, his Weapon X outfit. And it's also kinda strange that they mix both the Wolverine aspect with Terminator, as he comes out to Terminator music, and he even gets a Terminator theme chant going throughout his matches. Dr. Brit Baker, DMD. We're not sure if you have taken notice yet, but Brit Baker, she's a doctor. It should be no surprise, it's in her name twice. And AEW has mentioned it every single time they have the opportunity. Baker debuted in 2015 and quickly shot to the top of every promotion she wrestled with. With her universal good looks and charming personality, Baker worked hard and won over fans with her success in the indie circuit. In just a little over 4 years, Baker has held 5 titles in 5 different promotions. In September 2018, she proved she was worth the hype when she participated in the highly regarded 4-corner survival match at All In. Brit is the poster girl for AEW. She was the first female member to be signed, and though she's still a bit green, she's proven to be a strong leader. Yes, she graduated from the University of Pittsburgh School of Dental Medicine, and yes, she has her own private practice in Florida, and yes, despite most of this coming from a script that I had written, I'm reciting this from memory because it's pushed on us every other minute she's in the ring. Pull back a bit and continue to push Baker into this heel side, and I think everybody's going to love it. It started off a little bit rocky, but I think it's going in the right direction. Dolph Ziggler. The show-off might have some serious time in the business, but we're not sure exactly what his role is within wrestling. Debuting in 2004 under his real name, Nick Nemeth was repackaged as Dolph Ziggler in 2008 on WWE's main roster, starting off as a heel from the very beginning. In 2011, he dyed his hair brown and cut it short and sold it as a new and improved Dolph Ziggler, but immediately rebleached his hair a month later. In 2014, it looked like he might finally turn face after a lengthy feud with the Authority and a weird relationship angle with Summer Rae, Lana, and Rusev. But it wasn't long before Ziggler was back to his old heel ways. Even more odd, in August 2017, returning from hiatus, Ziggler showed up with a new gimmick, where essentially he mocked the entrances of other superstars, claiming that the fans only really care about fanfare. In December 2017, adding to his strange new bitter gimmick, Ziggler aired a career retrospective, said the fans didn't deserve him, and seemingly relinquished the US title in the ring. They tried to sell his return a little over a month later as a surprise entrance into the Royal Rumble, and from there he's taken over as the head jobber and teamed up with Bobby Roode and Baron Corbin. Ziggler has top-notch mic work and in-ring ability. He's been in the business for so long, new wrestlers look up to him as a mentor. He's best as a heel, but not when it's in odd relationship angles, assisting and shoving dog food in faces of superstars, or pretending to be bitter at John Cena, or even creating weird stables like the Dogs of War. I say let Ziggler be the show-off, and he won't disappoint. Disciplinarian. Women of Wrestling, or WOW, is known for their almost carny-level gimmicks, but Disciplinarian might be the worst one they currently boast. Robin Reed, also wrestling under Ivory Robin, debuted in 2014 and has competed in over 24 promotions, including Reality of Wrestling, Sabotage, Rise, Girl Fight, Shimmer, Impact Zone Wrestling, Queens of Combat, Shine, and NWA. She's held 5 reigns, including the current reign as IHWE Queen of the Ring champion, which she's held for over 956 days. We're naming off all these accomplishments because you wouldn't know that she had so many just by judging her from her current gimmick at WOW, the Disciplinarian. The Disciplinarian is billed as a Southern teacher who prefers a hands-on style of education and thinks everyone simply lacks discipline, which she tries to violently knock back into opponents with her wooden paddle. Yep, a wooden paddle. Essentially, she's an uptight teacher with a severe lack of patience. If the name and backstory wasn't enough to grimace at, the comments made from the commentators table, namely from David McLean, are enough to send anyone over the edge. The comments turn the uptight teacher gimmick into a borderline sexual fetish. WOW has changed gimmicks for the women wrestlers before, so let's just hope they see the error of their ways with Disciplinarian. The Young Bucks. Matt and Nick Jackson really love wrestling. They love it so much they opened their own company, High Risk Wrestling, in 2005. The high-flying tag team has held 35 reigns, joined the Bullet Club, formed the Elite, transformed into Generation Me for Impact, helped plan All In, and even serve as executive vice presidents of All Elite Wrestling. They've wrestled for over 15 years, but honestly, what's their gimmick? All we really know is they're athletic, they love bell bottoms and tassels, and they're super cocky. They're mostly supposed to be heels, but you wouldn't be able to tell that by the crowd reactions and the wrestlers they team up with on a regular basis. In AEW, they're probably some of the biggest babyfaces on the roster. They're not so young anymore, but they haven't slowed down. Some people criticize the Young Bucks for their love of overdramatic spots. If they just chose a side and were really allowed to lean into that side, it might be easier to continue to buy their act after nearly 2 decades. The Superkick party has closed. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Lana. She's billed from Moscow, or maybe it's Gainesville. She had a Russian accent, but now she doesn't. Lana started her career as a very successful ballerina and dabbled in music, acting, and modeling. In June 2013, she signed with NXT and debuted in October of the same year. She debuted as a manager scouting Alexander Rusev, and then became his social ambassador. Part of her kayfabe backstory was that she majored in foreign affairs, business, and social media marketing, which made sense because Lana was intelligent. Things really turned sour when she debuted for the main roster in January 2014. Lana spouted Russian propaganda, she was anti-American, declared Russian President Vladimir Putin as her hero, and dropped controversial comments that actually had fans speculate if she really did have ties to Mother Russia. If that wasn't enough, Lana's career in WWE has been littered with awful relationship angles, including a practically assumed domestic violence angle with Rusev, an affair with Dolph Ziggler, engagement to Bobby Lashley, and the now dropped lesbian angle with Liv Morgan. For a few short years, it looked like WWE was trying to utilize Lana in-ring, where she teamed up with Naomi and Tamina and even had a brief face run with Rusev and Aiden English for Rusev Day. Lana is a strong, successful, talented, intelligent woman who's natural on the mic. If WWE won't put money and time into Lana's wrestling career, at least give her a gimmick that highlights her attributes instead of forwarding sexist stereotypes. Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson, in most regards, is a wholly likable character. We just wish he would pick a gimmick. Debuting in 2008, Juice Robinson held that name for most of his career, when he wasn't playing the hippie concerned with the environment and hating on sheeple as CJ Parker in FCW and NXT. Parker became a jobber a little too quickly for his liking and requested his release shortly after signing. In 2015, Robinson debuted with New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he stayed a polarizing staple. New Japan has put Juice in several tag teams in what looks like an excuse to use Juice in the name, like with Death Juice and Finn Juice. What do those names even mean? Pro Wrestling Illustrated listed Juice as number 32 out of their top 500 wrestlers of 2019, and that's not without merit. Juice has serious skills and he's a charismatic guy who can play over-the-top colorful drama king or a serious wrestler. The problem arises when he tries to play both at the same time. Pick a side, Juice. Jesse Jones. We might be saving the worst gimmick on the list for last. That is, if you don't like Southern stereotypes and borderline racism. Jesse Jones, known as Jessie Belle in some promotions, is a women of wrestling heel that can draw heat like no other wrestler. But that's not hard when you're essentially a souped up MAGA stereotype. Built from Kentucky, where Jessie is really from, her backstory claims she was teased by Louisville kids for being from a poor city, which led to fights in bars, which led to a whole slew of Southern stereotypes like how she doesn't like people who won't hunt, or the awful names of her signature moves, Gun Rack, Second Amendment, and Bourbon Shot, and gave her the eye-rolling slogan, "Make wrestling great again." Jessie Belle has been wrestling for nearly a decade and has held 22 reigns, 11 of which are from Ohio Valley Wrestling. Jessie has been with WoW since 2013 and has held some variation of the Southern Pride gimmick ever since. The character enforces stereotypes about Southerners, the poor, and even Trump supporters. The gimmick definitely makes the audience uncomfortable when she's on the mic talking trash to a woman wrestler who is also a minority. The negative stereotypes help no one and further absolutely no positive agenda. WoW may not have enough incentive to change Jessie's gimmick because she is the best heel on the roster. We just hope they consider giving her a different vibe than angry, dumb, redneck racist. Which wrestler has a gimmick that you just think needs a definite change? Let us know in the comments. Like and share this video, and if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with everything Midcard Maniacs.